So first of all, thank you guys so much for joining our session today. In today's session, we're gonna visualize your idea using Figma. Our guest speaker is Annie. She's an APU alumni and she's the UI UX engineer at Rakuten, and she also has a lot of experience in terms of designing and creating prototype for products. We hope that you're gonna learn a lot of things from her. So Annie, the stage is yours.
Okay, hello everyone. If you wanna turn on your camera to interact, so for me to see your face, please feel free to do so. Okay, hello everyone. My name is Annie. 3 months ago, I was in your position. I was an APU student. I joined APU 4 years ago. I studied marketing and I am now a designer. Although I specializes in UX research and UX design, a lot of the time when you have an idea, it's also important to communicate that idea. So with that being said, I do believe that having an idea and being able to execute it should come in hand. That's when I started learning UI design. I chose Figma as the first tool to use because it's very collaborative, it's very hands-on, and it's very easy to use. So if I can learn it, then probably you can too. Okay, before we get on the hands-on, because today's session is gonna be quite fun, let me introduce simply what is Figma. So Figma is a web-based graphic editing and user interface design application. Many said it's kind of like Photoshop, many said it's like Illustrator. Some even said it has similarities with Canva. If you have heard or used some of those applications before, then you can kind of understand the basics of Figma. But what I love more about Figma is that you can use it for so many things. For example, creating wireframes for websites, designing mobile interfaces, prototyping designs, which is what we're focusing on today. But you can actually also make posters or presentation slides, anything at all. I made my presentation slides on Figma today. Definitely try to use it as much as you can for as many purposes as you want. We're gonna start with an icebreaker. There's not a lot of theories from my side because it's going to be a very hands-on session. So ATC, you can also feel free to join if you want. I hope you also have Figma downloaded. Okay, I see people here. Let me give everyone 30 seconds to get ready. Are you all able to join the Figma link?
Yes. If anyone have any problem, feel free to raise your hand.
Let me just give you an overview of what is Figma. Probably this is the first time you're seeing this. This is how Figma looks in dark mode. So as you can see here in the middle is our workspace. So everything, your visual design is going to be shown in the middle part. On the left side, this is your layers and your working, like your organization file. We can see here if I hover over it, then the layers will kind of like highlights, right? On the right side here is the detailed panel. For example, if you want to make changes to text or size, or you want to change the color, you can do so on the right side. So if you go down to the white part here, I called it collaborative space. I see Farron here, I see Xianglong here. So here I have made a template just to like a simple icebreaking. What I want you to do is to make an introductory card about you, just to like see and play around with Figma. What I want you to do is click on this template rectangle here. You can, if you're using Mac, you can Command C and Command V and move it somewhere else. Or you can also click on this and drag it. Oh yeah, many people are doing it. Okay, so don't be, let's give some social distancing and space out everyone. Okay, so here I have made a template so you can play around with your own card. Just don't touch the template once. And I will also be making mine so you can also follow along, or you can just play around with a different function. So how a design file works is that you will have many layers if you work on Photoshop or Illustrator, they should be quite similar. So I have also named the file so that you can easily imagine. So here, just to explain a bit, this square is where you can put your photo, and then you can type your name, and you can add like your favorite activities, what you're doing for summer, or you can also put in your like SNS account if you want. Okay, are we okay so far? If you have any questions, or if you want to ask, how do I do this? How do I do that? You can also just unmute yourself. But I will make my card and I can just talk while I do it. Or if anyone wants to like, well, talk with me, ask anything, you can also do it as well. Okay. Okay, so you can change your color, any color you want, by clicking and selecting the right panel. So for example, I call this one a rectangle. So if the rectangle layer is selected, then you're doing the right one. And you can change color by going on the right side. Scroll down to the fill label, and then just choose the color. Any color you want from this color picker. Or I also have some color that I set. So you can also choose this logo color and just choose from the color options. Oh, Karina's doing it. Okay. So next is, I want to put a picture in the middle. We have a square here. So if you want to add a photo, you go down to the right panel in the color section, tap on this color square, and there is a solid button here, okay? There's a drop down button, and they'll have some options here. Solid, linear, radial, angular, and diamond. Oh, there's no picture. Oh, maybe I'm choosing the wrong file. Okay, this is the one. Make sure you choose the right layer. Again, solid, and there should be an image option. Click the image, and then you can choose any file you want. Okay, so now you can actually upload a picture. You want to try? Oh, Lee is able to do it. Probably you can change the background color to make the logo a bit more visible. Okay. Karina's almost there. Let me see. Okay. Oh, I like this gray. Oh. I want to move my picture down a bit. So I will click on this layer. It was a rectangle, but now it's a picture. And I'm gonna crop it. So cropping, there's like an option on the top bar. Press the crop icon, and then you can move your picture around. Then I'm gonna click to change my name. And I don't like this font, so I can change the font by going on the right panel. Under text label, I can choose a font that I like. Let's go with this one. And then I can choose a different type of text, regular, medium, or heavy. Let's go with heavy. Okay, and then giving myself some title. I'm gonna put my website. Okay, and I'm gonna make this purple. No, green. Okay. Anything about me? So anything you want to share? Which grade you are in? Are you APM, APS? You can just type here. So you don't have to move around so much because it actually is auto layout in my template. So even if you type a lot, then it's going to automatically, it's going to add a line automatically. So if you want, you can write as much as you want and the layout will still be the same.
Annie, I just received a message of a participant asking how can we change to the image?
Oh, sure. Okay. Farron's able to do it. Karina too. Yeah, if you want to ask your friend or like another participant, you can also do it as well. But let me do it again. Okay. So originally, this one is a square, right? Okay, so you want to find the correct layer for the square. Here, this profile layer is selected, but you want to select this inner square. So I put it the name as picture holder under the picture layer. Are we okay? Hopefully we're okay. And then once you got here, you look at the right panel. Here you should be able to see a fill, like word. And there's a gray box. You click on the gray box, and then there's this model that comes out. On the top left, you'll be able to see the word solid and a drop-down button. So you press on it, and you go down to image. Okay. We okay? I hope we're okay. And then now you can choose your image. Is it okay?
Great.
Okay.
I think a lot of people have been able to change their image.
Yeah. Ooh. Is this a video? Can you put a video? I didn't know that. I don't know. Okay. Okay, let me just quickly throw out what are my hobbies. Now, I want to share a little secret. So, for example, for this box, you want to tell people that this is your like Instagram account. And normally, we would like go to Instagram directly and type the name, which takes like maybe 2 or 3 steps. But from a user experience perspective, you want to remove as many steps as possible. You want to direct your user to the final like solution. So what you can do is that you can insert a hyperlink. What a hyperlink means is that if user press on this certain text, there's a link connected to it. And if they press on it, they will go to the website directly. So how you do it on Figma is that if you select a word and you go to the top bar, there's like this Jane icon here. And it also says create link if you hover on it. There's also a shortcut, which is Command K, but I'm gonna just show you here. And if you press on it, it says like type or paste URL. So you can put in your URL. Then you press enter. So now it will have like an underline. Okay, so now if you hover on this word, it goes from like a arrow into like a finger pointing. So it means that if you press on this word, it's gonna redirect you to a website. You can try it. How are we doing, everyone? Ooh, looking good. I see Farron is trying like with the gradient as well. Hello, Karina. Oh, this one is nice as well. You can also type as many as you want or as few as you want. And then it just automatically like elongates the card. If you have time, you can also change the icon here. How you do it, the same as with your profile picture. So make sure you're selecting the right layer. You should be able to see the word fill. Click on it, choose image, and then you can add like an icon or something. Yeah, so if, for example, if it's like favorite activities, maybe you would want to choose an icon that represent activities like a ball for sports, food icon if your activities is like hanging out with friends or something like that. Oh, yes, that's nice. Oh, I like this color palette. Very pastel. Okay, is everyone okay so far? Do you have any questions? Are we good? looks like we're good.
You can also type your question in the chat box.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna give everyone maybe 5 more minutes to finish up what you want to do, or you can also do after the session. And if you finish yours, you can export. You can save this file to your local file. How you do it, let me show you how. Okay, to export, you select the frame and you press export. Okay, that's very straightforward. Okay, so let me just select mine. So make sure you're selecting the whole frame, everything. And you can check to see if everything you want is selected or not by hovering on this icon of an eye. So if the eye is showing, it means you can see it. And if it's not showing, if you press 1, it disappears. So it means that maybe everything you want to export is here. And then you go on the right panel, scroll down, and there should be the word export. And you can export it in PNG. PNG means that it's only exporting this element with a transparent background. JPEG, which means that if you export it, it's gonna export with the background. So like a white background is also gonna be shown. Ideally, maybe we can export with PNG. Press export template, and you can choose wherever you want to save it. And it's saved. There's actually also a border outside. So if you can see, there's like a black border outside, and you can also change the color of the border. So for example, maybe if you want to, in the real products, you want to make like a button and you want to make a border for that button. What you want to do is you want to select the right panel. And if you scroll down to stroke, you can add a stroke and you can change the color of the stroke. You can also adjust the opacity, so making it like more transparent or making it more vivid. You can play around with the numbers. Oh, wrong one, this one, stroke. So maybe like 80%, it's gonna be a bit lighter.
Annie, we also received another question about how to make like the avatar into the round shape.
Yes, good question. I can make something. Okay, so I made a square. Is this a square? No, it's not a square. Okay, okay, this is a square, perhaps. No, it's not a square. Okay, this is a square. For example, change the picture, right? Okay, so this is still like a square. Let me just add a stroke. Okay, it's a square and you want to make it circle, right? Like an icon. So you want to select the right layer, and here on the very top, and if you look at the third line on the right side, it's kind of like a corner. And if you hover over it, it says corner radius. So you can play around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe let's make it 40 and it's rounder. Can you see that the corner is round?
Okay.
Yeah. Or another way is that if you hover on this layer, you can see that there's this tiny white circle. And if you press on it and you drag it inside, then it becomes circle as well. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So this is when you want to make it like round, but you can also actually make a circle in Figma. So if you look at the top banner again, there's like this many things. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Number 4 is the shape tab. And if you press the drop down button. There's a lot of shapes that you can try. To make a circle, it's called ellipse, or the shortcut is O. So if you press O, then from like this mouse, you press O, it becomes a plus symbol. So you can just drag it out. Now it's an ellipse, right? So it's not a circle. If you want to make it circle, hold the shift when you press it and it becomes a circle. Okay. So I will give you 1 more minute and then we can move on to the actual part for today. This is like a warm up and like to get you used to the interface of Figma.
Thank you so much, Annie.
Sure. Feel free to go back to this Figma file later and just finish your card, and or you can try play with it more. Oh, looking great. I like this color. Oh, I like this color palette too. So now that you know the basics of Figma, let's try to actually make a screen together. If everyone can go to the second page of this file. So on the left side here, on the layer panel, page under pages, there's Intro to Figma, which is the page we are right now. But I want you to go to the prototype. Okay, I see Farron is here, Karina's here. This is our challenge for today, to create 2 screens, which is a lot, but let's try to do it in 1 hour, hopefully. This is a screen taken from a project that I did to recreate APU's campus terminal. Maybe some of you have seen it. If not, then I can share with you the project later. So today I want to try to show you how to make a login screen and a home screen. Probably a login screen is very important if you're making any kind of digital products that requires like membership or login. First, take a look of this login screen. We're gonna try to make this login screen first. What it has is a logo, a title, somewhere that user can put their user ID. So if, for example, taking the example of this, it will be your APU student account, and password, it's your student password, and a login button. So this one is very simple. You can look at me to do it, or you can also try to do it if you want, probably like a bit outside. So because I'm gonna be sharing this part, so you can try to do it at the same time as me. Because we're designing for mobile, we need the specific size for a mobile. If you look at the top bar, the symbol, the third symbol, is like this square thingy. And then you press the drop down button, it will show frame and slice. Or you can also press F on your keyboard. Now on the right hand side, it's gonna show you many types of devices. From tablet, if you're designing for website, there's also size for MacBook or desktop. Or if you're making presentation slides, there's also this template. But I want to make for a mobile. So let's choose iPhone 13. Okay, and if you press it, then it automatically creates iPhone 13 frame for you. Let's be organized designers and rename this login screen. Okay, if you want to change the name, then you go on the left side, select the layer and double tap, and then you can edit the name. So now I have my login screen. I want to hide this template top page for now, so we can focus on the login screen. If you want to hide a layer, just click on the eye symbol and it's poof, it's gone. Let's move this template screen a bit closer here. What do we need? Okay, first we need a logo. How to make a logo? It's the same as how you uploaded a picture from the previous exercise. You can make a square by pressing this symbol, rectangle, or R shortcut, and you can change the color or give it a picture. So you can upload your logo if you want, or you can also actually paste the picture on the internet. What I like to do is I'll just drag the photo file from my desktop to Figma. But since I already dragged my APU logo here, I'm just gonna steal my own logo. If you want to make a copy, you press on the layer for the APU logo, right click, copy, or shortcut Command C or Shift C if you're a Windows user. And to paste it, Control V or Command V. Or you can also select this photo and drag it. Option Shift and drag. So for example, you want to make this logo in the middle. What you want to do is on the right side here, there's many kind of alignments you can choose. So let's align center. Okay, done. Next, we're gonna make this text, add text in Figma. You can press the T symbol up here or the shortcut T for text, and then click welcome back. Okay, this welcome back is a bit big, so I'm gonna resize it to maybe 36 and making it bold. Too bold, medium. No, bold. Okay. So we have the text here. Now we're gonna make this button. To make this button, let's try to look at it from a shape perspective. I know it looks a bit round right now, but think of it as rectangle. So we have 3 rectangle with text in the middle. Let's make our first rectangle. What is the shortcut? R for rectangle, and make a rectangle. We can also resize it to 60 width, 260, and let's make sure it's in the middle. Okay, now we're gonna put the text over it. T, user ID. Oh, it's too big. So let's make it smaller, tiny, and put it here. Now we would like to group it together just for organization. If you want to group an element, you can select both layer, and press Command G. Or you can right click and find group selection. So Command G or Shift G to group the elements together. But I want to be able to reuse my designs again and again, so I don't have to create like the same rectangle and text every time. So let me show you something called component. So first select the text and the square, and right click, select add auto layout. On the right hand bar, there's also the label for auto layout. And I think the shortcut is Shift A. So when you press Shift A, this kind of logo icon appear. So it's got a bit shorter, right? Okay, let me just quickly change this into like a pill. Okay, never mind. I'm just gonna prove this first. Okay. Okay, I made a mistake. It's not called auto layout, it's called components. Okay, I'm very sorry, everyone. So instead of selecting auto layout, right click and select create components. That's what I meant. Okay, so if you create a component, now there's like a purple rectangle outside. And if you press copy and you paste it, then another layer appears, a diamond. So what it means is that any changes you made to the master component, which is this weird icon. So if you change, for example, password, it's going to automatically change everything below. You don't want to make changes to the component, master component a lot. So what I would suggest is leave the master component alone and make changes to the child component, the one that has like the diamond. So Control copy and Control V. And then if you make changes to only the child component, then only this part would change for the text, for example. and this is, for example, login. Okay. Again, one more time, if you make changes to the master component, then everything will change. So if we make this color another color, red, it's all gonna change to red. But if you select only the child component and you change the color, then only this one will change. Are we okay so far? I hope so. Okay. So now, yeah, let's just make it red. So now we want to make this like rounded. So and we want to make everything round. So instead of single-handedly change all 3 buttons, we can just change the master component. Let's give it 20 is not enough. Oh, wrong one. Rectangle. Choose the right layer. Sorry, that was my bad. Okay. See. Okay, let's give it 40. And now everything changes inside. Let's move the text a bit here and align left. Okay, nice. And the login, maybe it can be in the middle and bolded. This is not middle. Because now it has the property of this component, which gonna give you some restriction and you want to make it more freely. You can undo the component by right-click and select detach instance. So now it's not purple anymore, but it's gonna be white. So now you can freely move your design around. And we made this screen, kinda. And just for decoration, maybe put like a rectangle at the bottom to make it less white space. And let's give it black. Okay. So we want to see how it looks like on a real phone, for example. And this is what's great about Figma, because you can actually see your prototype on the actual device. So if you selected iPhone 13 as your device and you want to see how it looks like on the iPhone 13, you can actually press this triangle symbol that says present. And now it's to screen, and you can see how it looks like in what an iPhone 13 would actually look like. And if you make changes, for example, make it screen and go back, then it changes to green as well. So the prototype is going to automatically update based on your design. Okay, are we okay so far? Any questions? Okay, I'm gonna assume silence is okay. So we finish this login screen. Just gonna lock it. Now let's try to make the harder one. This one. This is our real challenge. Okay, let's move it here. So I'm just going to copy the exact design. We're not discussing UX today, but we're just going to try to replicate the screen. Okay, let's investigate what the screen has. Okay, so the screen has a top bar, which has like an iPhone with the time, battery, and for the actual app itself, it has this navigation bar. It has the title. It has some symbols here. It has some tabs here. So it doesn't show everything, but if you scroll it, then you can see the rest of the word. Here we have some text, some cards. It's not showing everything, but if you scroll, then you can actually see it. We have some more text and a lot of text. And then you cannot really see everything, but if you scroll vertically, you're gonna see more text. So that's our challenge for the next 45 minutes. I hope I can make it. It took me 3 days to make it, but in reality, but let's see if I can beat my own goal. Okay, let's first make a layer we have here, iPhone 13, and let's rename this top page, or no, home page. Okay. So what I love about design is that we have a lot of industry standard. So as much as we can be creative as we can, sometimes it really helps that people are doing this similar things to us. So for what I mean is that all iPhone, if you take a look at it, the time is always at the top or at the top. So a lot of design has this kind of components, and you can always look at other people's design and borrow their design if it's something standard. So I already made this bar that I borrowed from another very kind designer. So we can just use this one. But the text here is white, so I will make like a rectangle first so that it makes my text pop. So R rectangle, make this here, change the color, and then just borrow my old design. Make sure to choose the right layer. Bar status white. Okay, Control C, Control V, and move it to this one. Okay, let's just put it here. Some of you ask, where can I find these components? Where can I find these icons? Do I have to make it by hand? Yes, some people make it by hand to make it more personalized or to align it with if your product is very unique. You want to make it similar to your brand. However, there are some icons and navigation tools that we use across all products. So for example, if you see this magnifying glass, you will infer that it's going to be a search option. Or if you see this bell here, you will think it's going to be a notification bell, right? So these are called industry standard icon. And luckily, there's a lot of resources online where you can get these kinds of icons. So I will share with you where I got mine that I learned from other designers as well. So there's this option in Figma called plugin. You can go here and press on manage plugins. And here you can see like many kinds of plugins from people, and you can download the ones that you need. So I like to use Iconify, which means that you can automatically choose the icon, or like emoji generator. That's also a good one. So if you have time, you can download this Iconify plugins. Let's try to get this search magnifying glass. Figma, plugin, and Iconify. Okay, can everyone see this Iconify panel that just popped up?
Yeah, we can see it.
So now you can see there's a lot of icon. If you search, here I search for the word search, and you can see that there are many magnifying glass comes up or other icons people use for search. But I like simple ones, maybe this one. So we can press on it, press import icon, and oh, we have a magnifying glass here. Great. And if you want to change the color, you can just press on it. Make sure to choose the right frame. This one gonna stroke and change color. So now your magnifying glass can be in many color. It's the same for the notification icon. Let's try notification. So yeah, it will also give you a lot of options as well. I like this one. So before we had to press on it and press import, right? But you can also just drag it out. So click on it and drag it. And you also have a bell icon. And you can also change the color. Earlier, I talked a lot about choosing the right layer. The reason because it's really easy to be disorganized if you're working with 100 layers. So you would want to make sure everything connected to each other under the same layers. And what's really useful about Figma is that if you drag an element to the correct, you can actually move the direction, the location of the layers by dragging it to the correct screen that you want. And I want to put this in this rectangle because I want it to be only in the top bar. Let's click on the search symbol and drag it under the rectangle. Oh, it doesn't work. Okay, let's just group it then. Control G. So now it's under the same group. So you can see that now it has like a bigger rectangle that has both this rectangle and the search bar just for organization. Due to time limitation, I'm just going to quickly copy what I made here. So I imported this navigation symbol. I wrote a text in the middle and I imported some icon. So I already pre-made this. So I'm just gonna quickly copy it and paste it here. Make sure it's in the middle. Let's just give it some space. Okay. Okay, next, let's try to make this interesting navigation bar. So what we have here, what it means is that it has many tabs. And if there is a black background behind this tab, it means that this screen is being selected. Just like how we made the button for the login screen, let's just make a rectangle and add some text for it. Okay. Rectangle here and text, let's call it home. Choose both of it, and now we add something called auto layout. So what auto layout is that it's going to automatically lay out your components. So before it was like this really big rectangle with like small text, but once you press on add auto layout, Figma just magically makes it nicer. And now if you want to make any changes, you can play with the option on the right side. It's gonna take a while to get used to what it means. So just play around with it. This weird symbol here, horizontal padding, what does it mean? Let's try playing with it. Okay, so if you stretch it out, then there's gonna be more space between the text and the border. So let's just give it a nice number like 12 and let's make it round. Okay, so now we have this very nice thing that if you type, then Figma will automatically make it longer, like the background in the back. So if you make it short or make it long, then it automatically changes with it. Okay, nice. Now we want to use these components again and again because we have like a lot of tabs, for example. So right tab and create component. So it means now that we can use it many times. But I want to have like similar spacing between these kind of options. And of course, you can make 7 buttons and try to align it together, but you can also use Figma's technology to auto lay out it. So now we would want to press on this mother component here and press Shift A for creating component. So now the mother component is under this auto layout. The mother component's here, and if you duplicate it, so Control C and Control V, now all of your tabs just automatically is created and it has like nice spacing in the middle. And if you want to change the spacing, now you can click on the master layer, frame 33, and you can play around with these kind of numbers to choose like the space that you like. But I want to make it horizontal and this is vertical. So this is the vertical direction button. But if you press the horizontal button, then wow, magic. It just automatically nicely lay it out horizontally. And of course, we only want to make the screen that we're choosing like apparent that we're choosing that screen. So this is why components is really useful because we can actually go to the child components and for example, we can change the color of the background to white. So now it feels like it's not being selected. You can use the same components for many screens and you just need to change the background color of the button. So now it kind of looks like the one on the left. We're almost there. Nice. So in this one, we want to make it to be able to scroll. What it means is that for this actual screen, user will not be able to see everything, but they have to make the interaction to swipe. So what we want to do is we want to have everything shown in the main frame. So let's make a frame by pressing F. Create a frame here. The width should be long as the screen. And let's put this long frame that has like words outside of the frame inside the bigger frame. This frame that goes over the iPhone 13 frame. And there's the bigger frame that's only inside this frame. So now what is interesting about prototyping is we can make it as real as possible. So if you choose the master frame and you go on the right panel, you press on prototype. Here, it helps you to add some animation with your design. There's this label called overflow scrolling. Press on no scrolling drop down, and we want to be able to swipe it horizontally. So let's choose horizontal scrolling. If it's wrong, it's gonna show like an error message, but looks like it's good. Let's choose horizontal scrolling and check with our prototype. Let's see. Oh, it can be scrolled now. Okay, so if you hold on it and you drag horizontally, then you should be able to scroll. I hope you're able to scroll.
Yeah, we can also scroll it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So
Okay. Okay, that makes me very happy. Great. And then we're done with this scrolling thingy. Let's give it like a separation, like a separator, because there's a lot of things going on. There's this navigation bar, but there's also the cards and like notification. So let's just divide things to like make it easier on the eyes. To make a line, let's go to the shape, and line is L. So you can drag it out, or if you want it to be like a really straight line, then just hold shift. So now we have this very nice line, and make it bigger or change the color to like gray or something. Okay, that is not gray, that is very red. Okay. Okay, now it's gray. It makes like more space to breathe. You don't want to put too much information or we're gonna feel so overwhelmed. Next, we have this text here. So you can just press T to add text, but I'm just gonna copy what I made. So put the text here. Okay, next is this one. This part is also scrolling on the right horizontally. So it's similar to this one. So I'm pretty confident that you can make it the scrolling part. So I'm just gonna make this card to show you how to make a card. So if we investigate this card, it basically is one big rectangle outside a smaller rectangle with text over it. And there's just some text at the bottom. Pretty simple, right? If you look at it from like shapes and text perspective. So let's make a rectangle R. Let's give it a nice number, 40, 20. Okay, let's change the color. And if you just want to copy a color, you can either play around with this thing or just use the eyedropper tool, press on it, and then choose the color you want to steal it from. I'm gonna choose this color. Cool. Now I'm gonna make it a bit round. Let's give it 20. That's too round. Let's give it 16. I guess it's okay. Then we would make a smaller rectangle inside. Another rectangle. And then let's make this one 12 and steal the color. So eyedropper tool and blue. Okay. So now we want to make sure that everything is organized in one place. So let's group the elements together. Command G or right click and group selection. So now it's like group 5 and let's just call it like a ticket. I don't know, ticket. Not a very good name, but let's just call it ticket. And if you press this button here, you can see all of the things inside it. So make sure you're selecting the right order and the right layer. Otherwise, you won't be able to make the changes you want. So let's just add some text here. What class should we take? SSAW. Put it in the middle. And do you actually see this red line? This is what I love about Figma because it automatically shows you like the guideline, like is this in the middle or is it like to left, to right? So it's really helpful to add some text under. Again, T, Tuesday. And make this text smaller so that all of the attention is going to go to the word SSAW. This one is like not so important, so we can make it smaller. And we can have like a subtitle. So another text below, smaller size, maybe make it medium or light. Oh, it kind of looks good. If you look closely here, you can kind of see that there's something under a shadow, right? Figma has a very nice feature called effects. So if you scroll down to the very bottom and press the plus button, you can actually add a drop shadow. Very useful. And you can actually play around with how much shadow you want. So if you press this sun icon, this little box gonna show up and you can just play around with the different function and see which one you like best. Okay, maybe something like that. So now it looks a bit more 3D and it's gonna make your design a bit more dynamic. Of course, if you want to quickly make adjustments, make it into a component and copy paste it here and add auto layout. Oops, I made a mistake. Select these two, auto layout, then paste, 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 yes. And then again, if you want to make a scrolling option, just make a frame outside and then put the inner frame inside this big frame. And to make it scroll, go to prototype, overflow scrolling, horizontal scrolling, and it scrolls. Nice. Okay. It's pretty simple if you do practice. It's gonna be quite tricky at the beginning. So that's why try to play with the numbers and play with the feature as many as you can. We're gonna make the same thing, but vertical scrolling. So the process is going to be quite similar, but instead of choosing horizontal scrolling, it's gonna be vertical scrolling. I do wanna share another secret is that sometimes we should have like some white space. What white space is that? This like empty space to let your eyes breathe. Your eyes can't really breathe, but it just means that it's easier for the eye. A really nice tool you can do so to make it all nice and like aligned is a ruler tool. If you go to view in the very, very top bar, I don't think my screen is sharing, but view, you can select ruler. So this ruler bar is gonna show up. Can everyone try? I think it's Shift R if you're on Mac. So now you're gonna see this ruler on the top and on the side. And for example, if you want to make everything in the same line, but if you have like this text here and this text here, maybe you want to make it same position, choose the panel on the left and wrong one, and then drag it out. You can drag this ruler out. And now you can see that there's a red line here. So you can easily move your elements and make sure that it's in the same straight line. Are we okay so far?
Yep. We are
Okay.
still following you.
Okay, great. Now let's just make random text. So we have the date here. Today's Sunday, right? Sunday. And on the right side here, we want to have like an explanation text. So why not bold this one? Because it's more important, like it's the date. So probably like the newer news is gonna be first. And then just some like description of what it's about. So right here. And here it's going out, but we want to make sure it's inside the frame. So let's just pull this ruler out and put this ruler here. And then you can just adjust this and everything is in the same frame. Okay. So next, let's try to give this an auto layout. Right click, add auto layout. So here we can play around with this box here. I wanted everything to be top aligned on the left, so here. And I want to reduce the space here. So let's just give it 20. And here. Okay. Now, do you remember what we did here? If we want to make more options below, we make component. Yes. And we want to make sure that these text has like similar paddings and everything. So let's give it a auto layout again. Open it and then copy, paste, paste, paste. Yes, now we have things that are going outside of the frame, which is okay. Now we want to make it scroll vertically. So let's give it a frame. Frame inside your iPhone 13 and put this information inside that frame. Nice. We don't want to scroll it horizontally, but vertically. Let's go to prototype and choose vertical scrolling. Are you ready for the big moments? I hope it works. Let's present. And it's scrolling. Nice. Okay. So now if you scroll, if you drag and scroll, then only this part is going to scroll. So that's why having a frame is very important, because it's going to set the limitations on where can information be scrolled. So we actually made it. Okay. Are we all following so far? Okay, I hope so. Okay, so let's hide this template here. And now we're left with 2 screens that we made. Hopefully, if you're making it as well. Cool, right? Finally, for example, if you made maybe 10 screens and you want to show the judges or you showed your customer, you want them to try your products, and a typical flow, for example, this one is that you need to input your user ID and password and log in. And once you successfully log in, you're gonna be redirected to the home page. So a great way to do this on Figma is to, again, prototype. But you can actually give prototype to certain part of your design. For example, a user has to input their user ID and password correctly in order for the login button to work. Okay, let me just make let's just assume we have user ID and the password is stars because you don't want to show your password. This is a very great way to make your prototype more interactive. For example, let's just assume that users have an account and password. So once they press user ID and password, they can input their password. And a great way to only make it happen only when the user actually puts in the ID user ID and password is to link this component only specifically to this area. So let me just show you what I mean. Instead of selecting the whole screen, select only on this certain field. And now you can see that it's being highlighted because it's purple and on the prototype tab. And you can see on the very right here, there's like this white circle again, and hovering it, it's gonna show a plus. Press on this and drag it to the screen that you want. So what this means is that only if when the user presses on this user ID panel, they will be directed to the next screen. So if they press on something else, then it's not gonna show the screen that you want. Again, we can try with this one. So after user press their input their ID and password, then they can press login. So only here will the user be able to see the home screen. So let's only select this frame, press the circle button and drag it here, only on the login button. I hope you're following. If not, it's okay. We're gonna prototype it. So if you look at the screen now, if you hover around, it will show like a mouse. But now if you press on this, specifically the user ID, then it becomes like a finger, right? So if you press on it, oh, then it's gonna move to the one where you input your user ID. But I don't like that it's like it has like this swipey thing, right? I want it to just like change from user ID to like my username. What we want to do is go back to the screen, press on this path because this is where the animation happens. And on the interaction detail, you can choose the type of interaction when you want it to happen on click, where you want to navigate it to, choose the right screen, and what is the animation. So maybe I don't want to push the frame, but I just want it to automatically appear. So let's choose instant. And here, I also wanted to, let's make it dissolve. Let's see what it happens. I don't know. Let's see. Let's try again. We press user ID. Oh, it doesn't push anymore. It's gonna just, magically appear. So you can say that when user inputs their ID, it's just gonna happen. And after user inputs their user ID and password, and then they will be able to press login. And now they're able to log in after inputting their user ID and password. And then they can scroll, and you can scroll, and that's it. Okay. I've been talking for quite a while, and I hope my instructions were easy to follow. I hope it went well and you're able to make something. But that's it from me. Thank you for following along, everyone.
Thank you so much, Annie. And for our participant, I hope you guys also learned a lot of things new from our guest speaker, Annie.
Actually finished pretty early. So if you want to share your design, I feel like that's very important as designer. I know we want to make the perfect design. We want to make like creative design, but how we actually create design is to communicate our ideas across. Especially for UX and UI, it's not only about making aesthetic design, but it should also be functional, and it should also be like user friendly, something that people would want to use. So try to share your design. Don't worry how it looks, because it should be usable first, and then we can always improve the design later. Try to play with the tools that you use, and yeah, learn together, design together, and practice together. Kana.
Yeah, thank you so much for your sharing. And if you guys should follow what she showed us just now, and you want to share your design, then you can just like post it on Instagram or anywhere, and then tag her account and our account on your post. Okay, so that's all for today's training session. Thank you guys so much for joining and hope that you guys gonna have a great day. Thank you.